Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as I hope and I pray that we always do. I'm not important, just a question asker, just a question asker. When we got my brother from another mother, but we got the same father. This is Curtis, Mr. Curtis McNeil. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Hey, morning, man. Morning, Glow family. How y'all, man? What's going on with you out here?
Man, I got the elephant in the room, brother. He's screaming. He's screaming this morning, squealing, whatever that thing the elephant does. Curtis,
Mm-hmm.
the Supreme Court yesterday passed this
Mm-hmm.
passed this bill, if you will. Um, and it has been said that they're gutting affirmative action, making it well, they don't have to do the same thing they have to do, take into account this or that in regards to race in college admissions. That's one part of it. But Curtis, what I need to hear you, brother, because I know you all up and down this political arena, man. So you know what's going on. What's going on with this, brother?
What you what's going on?
Yes, sir. Talk to me. Talk to
What's
my audience.
what's what's going on, bro? Is I think I said this before on a previous show, right? I'm just gonna be truthful. What's going on ain't nothing new. We done seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
If, if people would just pay attention to history, every time a particular group and or set in a particular society and or culture is in power and starts to lose their power, they will do pretty much anything that they need to do to stay the power within that structure.
Mm-hmm.
I remember saying it before that I remember on this show saying, okay, y'all, these are some of the things that's been to happen because I remember us having an affirmative action conversation before, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Well, before they did that, you gotta think they gutted. They trying to gut the voters' rights legislation.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So if I gut the voters' rights legislation, then I turn around and gut your affirmative action legislation.
Mm-hmm.
Then guess what? I can almost take your right to vote away and say that you don't deserve that right affirmatively because guess what? We don't have that law either.
Mm-hmm.
What you
Wow.
have
Wow.
is you have court of I'm gonna keep it real, and you got a black male who hates being black,
Yes. Yes.
and you got several white males who, in all reality, will smile in your face, but then go right behind your back and do things that don't work in your favor.
Mm-hmm.
You have a conservative court. This is what you get. This is why it's important for people to vote.
Yes.
We just had an imbecile put 3 judges on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
Raheem, the last judge that he appointed. Raheem, you got more court time than he do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Come on, man. Man, these man. That's all I
What
can say is man.
what
Man,
so basically what you're saying, Curtis, the painting, the writing is on the wall. We just got to recognize what's being done.
guess what? We ain't even gotta recognize we gotta do something about it. Ain't no recognition. Everybody can recognize what's going on, but don't nobody want to do nothing about it. Man, this man.
Why do you think? Why do you
That's
think that
all I.
is? That why do you think that is, Curtis? That when you say nobody, and I know exactly what you're talking about, brother, because we had conversations. But this conversation that you and I are having right now is for the listeners to educate them on what it is. So why do you think nothing is happening? Nobody's doing anything.
You know what? Because people are scared they're gonna lose their livelihood, right? But I'm gonna tell you this: that is a farce.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be scared to lose your livelihood because guess what? There's so many jobs out here right now. You can lose your job today and be working tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But people are literally what they're doing, man, is they're putting people in positions of fear.
Mm-hmm.
So because folks are in positions of fear, I mean it's a common thing. Like, okay, if I know that it's $1 million at the end of my block, but I know in order for me to get to that $1 million, I gotta walk through persecution
Mm-hmm.
and I gotta walk through maybe not having a job to be able to feed my family and this, that, and the third. I'm not gonna do it. That $1 million gonna stay right down there.
Yeah. Sit right there in the corner.
You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
they got folks scared, man. I'm telling you, they got folks scared. And what's sad is what they doing is they got folks scared. Let me put it like this right here. They got folks scared of the people who mean goodwill to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the wolf got the hen scared of the rooster.
Wow. Curtis, and I sit and I looked at a lot of the research on a lot of different channels yesterday, and everybody got their own take on it. But what do you say to the people? Because I had one, I looked at one guy, and y'all, you probably saw him as well, as Oriental brother. He was saying how, the way that they've been doing it has been holding them back, the Orientals back. So a lot of black people was getting in, and they only had to get a lesser score to get in. Where they had to, where the Orientals had to get a much higher score, almost double the score to get in to be accepted. And he's saying that's not fair. That's not fair that that the black people are able to get in with a lesser score. What do you say to what do you say to people that have that mindset?
Here's what I say. First off, I'm gonna keep it all the way above. If you're not native born here, then you need to keep your mouth shut.
Mm-hmm.
On this issue right here, you need to keep your mouth shut. Because if you coming here from another country, you can't even fathom what the African American male in America has gone through. That's number one. Number two, let me tell you something, and this is my opinion. That's the worst thing we ever did. The worst thing we ever did was allow for affirmative action for us to be equated or 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 or, or treated as if affirmative action only affected us, was only for us.
Mm-hmm.
Because the truth be told, it wasn't. The fact that Oriental fact he's even getting a look, Raheem,
Mm-hmm.
says that affirmative action works.
Mm-hmm.
He can file a case, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but he can file a case against a school on the grounds that on an affirmative action ground saying, look, I want to look.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he's being looked at all is a result of affirmative action.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you what has happened. I'm going to be honest. This is just in my opinion. You have folks who don't want to accept the fact that, you know what, maybe you filled something out. Maybe you did your essay and you said something in that essay that them folks said, nope, we don't want this one at our school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe your grades wasn't high enough. Or maybe your parents, maybe you thinking that, you know, you from a well-off family and you thinking that you can get in, and guess what? Oh no, buddy, your parents ain't donated enough money,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing that bothers me with all of this. So you going to gut the affirmative action, but you're not going to get rid of the legacy programs.
Mm-hmm.
So right then and there, you telling me that you're still not being fair. You know what the legacy programs are, right?
No, what is that?
So legacy program says, like for example, let's say that your daddy went to Harvard,
Mm-hmm.
you went to Harvard. Your kids basically got an open door to Harvard. They can go straight into Harvard
Mm-hmm.
because they are a part of your legacy.
Almost like grandfather then.
So it's like, yeah, they almost grandfathered in. But my
Mm-hmm.
thing is, okay, so I'll give you a prime example. I believe is George Bush.
Mm-hmm.
George Bush could not get accepted to the University of Texas, right here.
I wonder why. Mm.
But guess what?
Mm-hmm.
He got accepted to Harvard.
Wow.
It's either Harvard or Yale. I can't remember which one. He got accepted to one of them. But the reason why he got accepted is because he got accepted under the ground to the legacy program.
Mm.
His grandfather, his great grandfather, his grandfather, and his father, all three of them went to either Harvard or Yale. I can't remember which one it was. But all three of them went to Harvard or Yale, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he automatically got in.
Wow.
So if you're going to get rid of affirmative action, okay, and you're talking about you want to be fair, right? That Oriental guy that you was talking about, I'm gonna tell you how being so smart can make you so dumb. Because okay, now you done got rid of affirmative action, right? But
Mm-hmm.
you still got the legacy program there.
Yeah.
So now you gotta compete with the families that's got 10 times the amount of money that you got.
Yep. That has a history there.
They got a history there. So, it's funny to me how um whenever it come down to black folks in this country getting a leg up, man, there's always a problem.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You
Wow.
know what I mean? And I hate to say it, I hate to say it like that, but it's the truth. Whenever it come down to us as a people getting a leg up, it's always a problem, bro. Like when I heard that and I was half asleep. When it
Mm-hmm.
broke, I was half asleep. And the first thing I said to myself, Raheem, is man, I really might consider moving out of this country, man.
Wow.
Because this ain't the country that I fought for. I'm almost embarrassed to say that I'm almost embarrassed to say that I served the United States military, man. Because this is not what I served for, homie.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm just gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it a buck. This ain't what I served for. And
Mm-hmm.
then, lastly, did you see this? They're trying to connect their decision to the 14th Amendment.
Yeah. 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 Exactly. Hold right there, Curtis. Let me pull some more people into the conversation, brother. Don't you go nowhere. You stay right there with us. Next on the line, we got Tucson on with us. We got Rico on the phone line as well. Tucson, good morning. How you doing this morning, sir?
All right, man. Good morning, first.
We got to deal with the elephant, man. The elephant in the room, and he's buzzing this morning. This not gonna be our topic all day, but we have to deal with it because it's something that just happened and it is quote unquote hot news right now. So people expect for us to talk about things that's going on. So that's what we do. Supreme Court guts affirmative action in regards to college. I put a post on my Facebook yesterday. Um, what do you think about this, Tucson? They saying that race has you can't be qualified or you can't get into college based on your race. There's no affirmative action no more in regards to that. It's gone. It's gone. Either you get in or you don't. people saying it's going to hurt a lot of black people from getting into college now. It's especially the what do you call it, the predominantly white collar PWIs, whatever you call it, especially those. What do you think about that, man? Is it a shock? Is it a blow to us as individuals? What do you think about it?
One
Hey,
why
Tucson,
just
your volume is skipping. Tucson, your volume is skipping.
okay. I'm gonna have to do something.
Your volume is
And I
skipping,
have
brother.
okay. Well, go.
Huh? Hold on. Let me go to Rico and Tucson. I'll come right back to you. Rico, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Man, I can't complain, man. Just happy to see another beautiful new day, man.
Good.
Hate to hear Don got that bad reception, man. He sound like he in a bad spot.
Yeah, and yeah, he hopefully he got a call in on the phone line, and that way we can have the the visual as well as the audio, and so hopefully he's in the process of calling in right now. But Rico, what do you think about this, man? You've been this political thing, man. You up on like I say, Curtis, man. You up on this thing as well, man. So what do you think? What do you think they're trying to do? What is the motivation here? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it a good thing for our people, or is it a bad thing? Well, they're
They're,
gutting.
tr-
Go ahead.
they're trying to continue the evolution of slavery that people don't realize that we're in. You know, people get mad when you say, "Are you still slaves?" And I ain't no slave. I ain't no slave. It has evolved.
Mm-hmm.
It has evolved through law. It has evolved through legislation. I mean, you look at the prison system. Ever since emancipation and the invention of the prison institution, you saw different laws and legislation enacted with every step. You had different ways that they still kept that privilege and that bias and that oppression all in place. This
Mm-hmm.
systemic racism that we talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So now I love what Curtis said. I mean, he could say what he said. Unless you just want to hear everybody else's opinion, man, he answered it all right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he broke it down. Then he used the perfect example. And see, people don't understand that affirmative action. The I'm gonna say the underlying reasons with which there are hundreds of thousands of reasons why it was necessary, and it was to not only make it fair and give black people opportunity, but to also sort of even the playing field for those that didn't deserve it because of privilege and entitlement,
Mm-hmm.
like George Bush.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you think about the different celebrities. What was it, a couple of years ago, that big scandal where people were paying for the children to go to college, and then after a while they found out that somebody was taking their test for
Yeah.
them?
Yep. Yep.
You know, think about the privilege and the money that, I mean, power, money can buy anything. Money could get you a sub and have you go to the bottom of the ocean, and you ain't even got to go through the regulations that everybody else do it. You ain't even
Mm-hmm.
got to take the proper steps to make sure it's completely safe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people with money and privilege continue to flex their muscles to separate themselves from the rest of the population of this planet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then our military is fighting for these people. They're fighting for those rights. You know, the Supreme Court fights for the 1%, those upper echelon, financially upper echelon people that can afford to send their children to Harvard, that
Mm-hmm.
can afford to um, be considered treasonous and sell oil to the Germans and have all their riches taken but still not go to prison, or
Mm-hmm.
allow Germans to come over here that should be war criminals but get them immunity just for the benefit of the country. I mean, none of this stuff is adding up. And so now you see something like affirmative action and the purpose behind it. Somehow people in 2023 to try to find a reason to reverse discriminate it.
Mm-hmm.
They create that reverse discrimination thing and make it seem like it wasn't necessary, like it doesn't need to be in place still.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, we see every instance of our most successful people being counseled
Mm-hmm.
go from being $4 billion men to $700 million men
Yep.
because they say the same thing that some other people say. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't celebrate or praise these people. But at the same time, this is the system they exist in. in too, and some of them don't even realize.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some of these people, they love this capitalistic system and this system of democracy that we live in that has just stricken down affirmative action.
Mm-hmm.
The same democracy, the same judicial system, just stuck us in our backs, made us backdoor Barry.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. And that's it in a nutshell right there. Man, that's it. Tucson, talk to me, brother. That's it. Yeah,
No, I think that we need to just go ahead and raise an offering and split it between Curtis and Rico
exactly.
and
Mm-hmm.
get a benediction.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's all been said, man. Look here, man. Why can't we just be fair? For some reason, the higher ups always trying to figure out a way to say that such and such got too much power, or he's finally getting somewhere, and we got to figure out a way to stop that.
Mm-hmm.
Because now they're doing what our children should be entitled to do,
Mm-hmm.
or go, or do, or operate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's always that type of mentality to say, "Oh, we got to do something."
Mm-hmm.
So it's all been said, because if they don't do this, they're gonna do something else. Because you know, look, like you said, some people for years have been paying for their ignorant child
Mm-hmm.
to go to the best school, and he
Mm-hmm.
don't even take the test,
Come on.
and he wanted with a degree.
Mm-hmm.
But here's some people. I don't want to say that it's only us, but you know what the aim is. We have nobody's stupid. We got to make sure that we tell our kids, do your lesson, do your homework. You got to do more
Mm-hmm.
just to be equal.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't, you're gonna be behind.
Exactly.
That's what we got. That's what we got to tell our kids.
Mm-hmm.
No, we don't. You ain't going out to play. You ain't going out and hang out. You're not gonna do none of that. You're finna sit down here. We're gonna get together. And we're gonna figure it out. We got to figure it out. Because you want to get you. If you're not talking, I'm not talking about being equal. I'm talking about getting there, having a chance of playing on a level playing field, which is not playing at all,
Mm-hmm.
level at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anybody else, not anybody, but you know, certain people have this option to let their kids just be. Well, it don't make no difference what they do,
Mm-hmm.
just
Mm-hmm.
because that's my child.
Mm-hmm.
Entitled to it. So
Exactly.
this affirmative action, from what I'm understanding, has kind of gave the opportunity for a level playing field in some kind of a way.
Mm-hmm.
But now they come back and say, "Nah, we ain't gonna do that. We ain't gonna do it. We done had enough of that because too many of them are achieving,
Mm-hmm.
and we can't have that."
Excuse me. Yeah.
So I mean, that's all I.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. Curtis, what do you again? I'm dealing with both sides of the alley here, both sides of the coin, if you will. What do you say to the individual that says, do y'all really need affirmative action? Yeah, what you trying to say? Y'all not smart enough to get into college, without this affirmative action thing. What do you say to that, Curtis?
Yeah, I'm there, Rodney. Um, ask me that again so I can process that.
What do you say to the people that say, man, why y'all leaning on affirmative action, man? Are you trying to say that y'all not smart enough to get in college on your own merit? Why do you need this help? I didn't need no help. I got in because I did the work and I had the grades. I had the scores to get in. Why do you need this help to get into a college? Why do you need that?
It's funny you asked me that, sir. I think you should be asking yourself that instead of asking me. Because first and foremost, the first thing you did was you already showing me that you have a bias against the option for me to have the opportunity to even get a look. So we really don't need to discuss anything because you haven't investigated yourself. You haven't investigated the situation further or enough to even ask me that kind of question. That's number one. Number two, when I did my math and I looked at research, I actually scored higher than on any test that we have than you did.
Mm-hmm.
But last but not least, don't just push affirmative action towards college. Affirmative action was just not written just so that we could get in college.
Mm-hmm.
Affirmative action is in all reality spread out amongst employment. You can take affirmative action any way you want to go. Disability discrimination, employment. It just don't have to do with banking, housing. It just does not represent the option for me to get into school or go to the school of my choice.
Mm-hmm.
Even with affirmative action, only thing affirmative action says is I at least deserve the right for you to look at me.
Mm-hmm.
It does not mandate that you make sure that I get in. You can look at me and say, well, no, he don't meet the requirements. And if I don't meet the requirements, I don't meet the requirements.
Mm-hmm.
But you can no longer, just because I am African American, Asian American, Pacific Islander, you can no longer, as long as affirmative action is in place, and or a female, you can no longer say, well, no, we don't even have to look at them because they're of the other.
Mm-hmm.
See, here's what got me, Brian, out of this whole thing. And I swear, this is a gospel talk and jazz radio station. But if the Bible ain't never been right, it was right when God put this in there.
Mm-hmm.
When God said the people perish because of lack of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And he ain't nothing right.
Mm-hmm.
And he ain't nothing right about nothing else. He was right about that.
Yeah.
You got, this is no dig to my Caucasian American sisters, but we try and tell the truth on this show. You got these Caucasian American sisters and these African American sisters running around here, voting with these people, not even realizing you dummies is voting against your own interests.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You want to do affirmative action? Let me ask you this, Raheem. You want to do affirmative action? Okay, you did it. So I'm gonna make a bold prediction. I could be wrong. They might send them boys over here to lock me up and destroy my credibility. You know what I think gonna be next?
What's that?
Equal pay for equal work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See, these people playing chess.
Mm-hmm.
People running around here playing checkers. These folks is playing chess. Why you think all these? Okay, so you're gonna strike affirmative action, right? You
Mm-hmm.
with me? You're gonna strike affirmative action, while all at the same time, several of y'all are being brought up on ethical investigations for accepting massive gifts from these multi-billionaire Republican PAC owners and donors.
Mm-hmm.
But
Wow.
you're going to strike affirmative action?
Wow. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. And Curtis, it's so many different levels on this thing. I was going to go somewhere else, but it's going to change the course of the conversation. So I'm going to bring it up a little later. But right now we got another call. I think it's Ibrahim. Ibrahim, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Well, blessings and good morning. I would like to extend condolences to the King family. Christine Ferris,
Absolutely.
King Ferris,
Mm-hmm.
died yesterday. She was the older sister of Martin Luther King, the firstborn of her father and her mother, Miss Williams. So, like to make condolences to her. She was a great woman, a true civil rights revolutionary hero, and her actions. And
Good
I just
deal.
say that. And
Absolutely.
I'll say that. Now, the conversation you were having, how do I feel about it? I have mixed feelings, but I like to say I like to explain that the affirmative action is necessary. It's like a funnel going into. It's like a funnel, a big wide mouth funnel going into a very narrow pipeline.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what was mentioned that you have legacies, right? So if we don't need affirmative action, we don't need legacies of mission.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If we don't need affirmative action, then we don't need wealthy people coming in, irregardless of their scores. The same thing with legacies, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that of all the countries they say that we're lagging behind, I think Trump made a erroneous statement, but he said that how America's lagging behind all these different countries. A lot of these countries have what? Free higher learning education.
Yes.
So let's don't get that twisted, right? This is needed. The country needs educated people. But as far as college concerned, I went to Boston University. I got in through a program. I had a full scholarship. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't finish, unfortunately, but I had a full scholarship for anything I want to do up to a master's degree.
Okay. Wow.
I
That's
failed to
good.
get my bachelor's. I didn't go that far. I just
Mm-hmm.
left college. It's like hindsight,
Mm-hmm.
but I left for a good reason. I went into my own business. But saying all this, right, it's necessary because you can be, we're just like singers. Every singer be on the stage is not the best singer, nowhere near the best singer.
Mm-hmm.
But they have, what everybody call the it factor. They have backing, they have support, they have a little training, whatever it takes to get a package over there. It's a business decision.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that we lacking when we don't have education as a priority for all our children, and it should be designed to educate for free thinking.
Mm-hmm.
That's not back 20 and 30 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
college and everything else for free thinking, free thinkers.
Ibrahim, let me ask you this
You don't
question.
hear people talking about.
Let me ask you this
Go
question. Let me ask you this question that I asked Curtis earlier. Same question. I want to
ahead.
hear your take on it. What do you say to the people?
Mhm,
And I agree with you all. I think it's absolutely needed. Affirmative action is needed. Yes. Yes.
mhm,
Absolutely. But what do you say to the people on the outside that's saying about
mhm,
black people? Let's keep it like it is. They're saying about black people.
mhm,
Why do you think you need affirmative action? I had to get in on
mhm.
my merit, on my scores, and on the work that I did. Why do you need? Why do you feel as
Right.
though you need help to get into college? Why can't you just do it like everybody else? As
Mhm,
idiotic as that statement is, what do you say to it?
mhm. Well, I would say to them, you better go back and recheck your application and see what got you in that college. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
it was money.
Mm,
It was also opportunities to gain access to certain things that's needed. Years ago, Johnson and Johnson figured out, it was a black psychology team. They figured out that the education system is slightly biased, and what did you require the questions that you ask. What's the difference between a Devon and a Schifferow? What the
mm-hmm.
hell has that got to do
Hey,
with living
mm-hmm.
or any type of science or anything?
Mm-hmm.
So I would say this: you better check your application and how did you get there? Any black person in college today, it wasn't long ago in my lifetime, and a lot of you probably getting born or wasn't born then, right? But my lifetime went right here in Georgia and New York and even California, where black people were castigated and attacked, and people tried to be killed and murdered just to step foot on the college campus they were more than qualified for, or high schools and elementary schools, more than qualified for. Put those scenes back in your mind. And before then, it was a handful of people. W. Du Bois was the first, I think, PhD graduate of Harvard.
Mm-hmm.
But he never knew slavery. He never was familiar with it. He was surprised when he went to Tennessee and taught at Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
But I can go on and on. But the thing is that we have to, we really have to research and remember and know our history, which we don't.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
don't have any clue about history. But in saying this, because of what, because of 14th, 13th, 14th Amendment, and black people that had it installed and prayed for it and worked hard for it and lost their lives over, we have a system now that is very diverse.
Mm-hmm.
Think about, I heard this Chinese guy talking about, oh, I think that, they got these Chinese guys to go as one of the people that want to go against affirmative action.
Yeah.
He's
I
the one
saw
who
that.
did that.
Mm-hmm.
That the Chinese themselves was some of the worst harassed people. They had an anti-Chinese law,
Yep.
a federal law.
Mm-hmm.
So now to see him sit back and participate as correct American, as American Chinese, I think he's just like out of his mind. You know,
Mm-hmm. Good
and
deal.
thank God it was Japanese guys. I remind them about World War II and what
Mm-hmm.
they did to their parents.
Exactly.
So again, I think that's something needed to make sure that we're a diverse country now. We're
Mm-hmm.
diverse, and it's not the white man's country; it's our country.
Mm-hmm. It's good.
So we should recognize that diversity and contribute. You can't find blackberries in a briar patch
Mm-hmm.
unless you move some of the briars out of the way. So you got to explore and dig out to find those gems. You see? So
Exactly. Good
I'll leave
deal.
that alone.
Good, good deal. Good. I see where you was going with that too. Yeah, I see where you was going. But let me and the phone lines open 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. And everybody share the broadcast. Share the broadcast. I want other people to listen in as well. TikTok, YouTube, share the broadcast, and TikTok, the phone lines open. You could definitely give us a call. And everybody else, give us a call. 508-924-3521. Whether you agree or not, give us a call. Tell me what you think about this affirmative action bill being shut down. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it good for the people? Or is it something that's bad? Or is it just another divide that they're trying to another wedge that they're trying to put between us?
Hey, Ryan,
Yes, sir.
I got a question. Check this out. It just came across to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know how I'll be paying attention to like the pattern,
Yeah.
like things that's going on and when they happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't think that this was kind of, well, I ain't gonna say kind of. You don't think that this was a plot and a ploy?
Yeah.
Right? Check
Yeah.
this out. You got a woman's right to choose,
Mm-hmm.
so you took her right to choose, right?
Yeah.
You did absolutely nothing to enhance equal pay for equal work,
Mm-hmm.
right? You got the voters' rights legislation, right? Then you got affirmative action. You moved the gut voters' rights. You're gutting voters' rights. Then you move to strike affirmative action,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, if you go down that line, ladies, I don't know about y'all. I might be digging a little too far. I don't know about y'all. But it looked to me like somebody trying to make y'all barefoot and pregnant back in the kitchen.
Mm.
That's what it looked like. Because see, at the end of the day, in my opinion, you're going to push as much as you can, but you're going to let up on something because you know if the men get upset, men have a tendency to respond physically.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We'll toe the line with the men, and as long as we can bless their pockets, we have a greater chance of the men falling back and saying, look, I'm getting mine,
Mm-hmm.
But ladies, I don't care what your political persuasion is, but I really and truly think it's time for y'all to stop speaking at us black men. Y'all need to start speaking to them power brokers, be it if they black, white, or candy stripe.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Raheem, I know it's a far stretch,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm just saying that's a voting block that if you can control, you can almost win.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
If you can control a female vote, black, white, candy stripe, you can almost win.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. Again, 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Give us a call. Tell us what you think about this whole thing, this affirmative action, man. They've gutted it. They've done away with it. And in regards to college. Let me make sure I put it out there in regards to college and college admissions. But what's next? What's next? Joseph, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Hey, good morning. Good morning, Morning Glow family.
Man, I need to hear your heart on this, brother. What do you hear? What Supreme Court guts affirmative action in regards to college, in regards to college admissions? Is that a good thing or bad thing? Is it something that's needed? Do we need it, or is that just another punch in the gut?
Well, it's a bad thing, and we should double down and hammer down on getting reparations, since the whole attitude is turning against us. We after the civil rights movement, the country seemingly was on the path to rectifying the wrongs with the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act. But the Supreme Court has done away with most of the civil rights gains. Kind of remind me of what the scripture said in Pharaoh. He said, "Let us deal wisely with them," because they won't get it. They won't catch on to it. We are disproportionately represented in the prisons and the judicial system, and now we will be underrepresented even more in the centers of higher learning, which will eliminate surgeons, scientists, generals, lawyers, and across the board. Those, what they're really concerned about is not having no more Obamas and Michelle Obamas and W.B. Du Boises and Carter G. Woodsons who came out of Harvard, because those are leaders who will make seismic changes in this country, and they know this. Now, the wealthy people, like my brother was just saying, these wealthy people, the Koch brothers, one of them did, and the Federalist Society and the Heritage, all these corporate giants put money behind bringing these cases to the Supreme Court. They are artificial. They're manufactured cases. It wasn't a serious problem for whites not getting into college. They've been getting into college. We're the one that had to fight to get into university that our tax money paid for. See, now these rich people took this Asian guy and made him cry out and said, "I'm being discriminated against." They manufactured it. Now, what I say is intelligence is not based on race, but the opportunities in the United States is. Intelligence is not based on race. You can find intelligent people in all races, but opportunities are regulated in this country, and it has been for us since we've been here. I mean, look, we couldn't learn. We were. It was against the law for us to learn during slavery. Coming out of slavery, more money was spent to educate the white child than the black child. And they had this separate but equal thing going on. Remember?
Yes.
As long as it's equal, it could be separate, but it was never equal. All those hand-me-down books that I got, and I'm born in 1959. The books that we got in our segregated black schools in Arkansas, West Helena, Arkansas, came from the white side of the tracks. You would see about 10 or 15 names in the science books and history books before it even got to us. So it wasn't equal, it was separate. And so we lag behind in education, and then they tell us when we go to question the chief of police as to why he hadn't hired no more black police officers, he tell us we're trying to get the most qualified. You got years of discrimination to make sure that people of color couldn't pass your racist bias test. And now you telling me that you trying to hire the most, that man, what kind of fool do you think we are?
Yeah. Yeah.
Affirmative action tried to ameliorate past conditions. It wasn't even the cure.
Yeah. Yeah.
We may have to go before the United Nations. We may have to take this nation before the United Nations and call it out. But in the meantime, we're going to double down on reparations.
Yeah. Is that the answer, brother? Because I heard a couple of people say that they want to double down and they want to get the reparations. Is that the answer that where we are right now?
Well, I mean, look, if we enhance our own schools and we hire the best minds to teach at HBCUs, they could be the top colleges.
Yeah, yeah. And see,
not only in athletics, athletics.
But let me say this: I was talking to somebody yesterday about the same situation, and I said that, man, I think that though it is a terrible thing in what they did, but I also think that it's a great opportunity for us to start more of our own and teach our own. Because I heard somebody.
We go ahead.
I've heard a great man say many years ago, how could we expect the one that enslaved our children to teach our children the best?
Exactly.
Yeah. And so why can't we take this as an opportunity, though affirmative action, and I'm gonna say it is needed. It is something that I wish they had not done what they did, but at the same, I like to deal with both sides of the coin. So why not take this as an opportunity to go out there and elevate higher than what we were before?
When you have people who are social engineering the country, and you can look at this and see, if you look at the bottom rung in the Black community, where young people have not received good education, many of them turn to the life of crime, drugs, and whatever. Well, they got that set up, so it can pipeline you right on into prison, right? Right on out of school into prison. Yeah, all that's set up, social engineered. Okay. Now, for as far as your elite, ones who have the mind to rise to the the level of certain critical thinking, that they can operate in the system or help manage this system. Now they're going to regulate them too.
Wow.
So okay. yeah, it's social engineering all the way around. But I mean, we gotta realize what role we're gonna play in this system. I mean, are we gonna help manage it, or are we gonna just be managed?
Wow, that's good.
That's the question we need to answer.
And see, and that's a part of my question right there as well, man. What are we going to do? Yeah, go ahead, Curtis. We got another caller. I want to go to the caller as well. What's on your heart, brother?
I'm glad he said social engineering, because if y'all get a chance, you can look it up. I can't tell you the name of the school. I always forget the name of the school, but the school is right here in Baltimore City. Certain folks of a certain persuasion is on the back end trying to close the school. But they can't tell you no real reason why they're trying to close the school. But guess what? The school has been deemed and has won awards and has been deemed one of the most successful middle schools in the state of Maryland. It's an all-male Black school located on Kirk Avenue. Right? It used to be a Coca-Cola plant. And somebody decided to make it a private school, turn it into a private school. And when I tell you they putting out some students, brother, they putting out some sharp, young Black males.
Yeah.
In the high school, right? For some reason, our other brothers on the back end now, notice I said the back end, they trying to close the school and can't tell nobody why.
Yeah. It's man, the fruit coming
out.
Goes
back to what the brother just said with that social engineering. He is so on point with that, man.
Exactly. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. Whether you agree, disagree. How do you feel about this whole affirmative action thing? What was done yesterday? What was done yesterday by the Supreme Court? How do you feel about it, man? Are you for it, against it? Is it something that's needed, not needed? Is it good or bad for people? Is it good or bad for people? Cap, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning? Toussaint, coming to you next.
Good morning, Brother Raheem, and to my great Morning Glow family. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good to have you. Good to have you this morning. What do you see happening in this whole what they did yesterday? Supreme Court shot down the affirmative action in regards to college admissions. Is that good, bad? Is it ugly? Is it another gut punch or a punch to the throat to us as a people?
Well, if my mind serves me right, I don't know the last. I know I heard Curtis. But prior to Curtis, as was that, I don't know if that was Pete. But social engineering was the language that he used, and I think everybody on here is given some very good, valid points. My dear white family, my white family, now that affirmative action has been shot down in colleges, maybe you now begin to rejoice. Maybe you rejoice now, saying, and maybe you feel you got some sense of justice now.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm so absolutely sorry, because there wouldn't be no affirmative action if there was no racist action. Affirmative action, if you remember, my dear white family, not all white people, but those racist minds who think that we love affirmative action. They think we live for affirmative action and have the Amelia Bailey's goals to audacity to believe that affirmative action is justice for us. Oh, my poor white family. How ignorant are you to think that you can correct 450 years? 450 years of systematic racist abuse to a people that you have deprived them of their religion, you have deprived them of their culture, you have deprived them of their name, and you have even deprived them of their own mind to think that you can make a decision that would give us some kind of justice through affirmative action, but because we are black or we are Indians or we are maybe poor whites or Native American or Asian or immigrants, that now we can get a foothold in your racist system by giving us a head start. And at the same time, produce discrimination against your own who may be more qualified. So to think that we like affirmative action, maybe some of our people do. And wait a minute, Raheem, and some of our people, a small percentage, let's make it perfectly clear, had advanced on it. A small percentage had advanced. Thank God, they would say, for affirmative action, we wouldn't have some of the brilliant minds in the black community we have if it was, but that's a small few of crabs that get out the barrel. But to think white people that we're mad. You can't take away the brilliance of intelligent young black men and women to go to college by giving them a head start. You know what you really do? You really deprive yourself of brilliance. You can't get past your racist mind and see the brilliant mind of the men and women coming out of the Black community that can advance this nation.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
who is hurt by affirmative action? Not us. And this ain't nothing new to us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because we had affirmative action, that don't mean we wasn't discriminated. We get discriminated against every time the police pull us over. It ain't got nothing to do with affirmative action there.
Mm-hmm.
We can't pull out our affirmative action card when the police pull us over right here. Hey, what's it again, buddy? Wait a minute, let me pull it. What is that? That's my driver's license? And what is that other? Oh, that's my insurance. What is that third thing? That's my affirmative action card.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Get out here. I'm so happy that it's over with, because now we're going to fight you tooth and nail.
Mm-hmm.
You started the fight, baby. Then when we beat you at the daggone finish line, then what is going to be your excuse now? Affirmative action. What is your excuse now that you got to fight the excellence of bringing Black people that you have deprived? No, brother, I'm happy it's gone. Now you won't have no excuse to say this is the reason why we advance. You racist, sick individuals trying to correct the wrong that you created by giving us a head start. Get out of here. We like James Bond. We don't want you to give us nothing. Just open up the door. Doggone it, we'll get it ourselves.
Absolutely.
You ought to open up my doggone. That's what's on my heart right here.
Good deal. Tucson, I said I was going to come to you next, brother. What's on your heart?
I think we're going to have to spread this offering around, man. Joseph said something. I think it was Joseph. said something. He says, let us deal wisely with them. History repeating itself over and over and over again. Joseph them were over there in Goshen, multiplying and prospering, secluded the Egyptians, and they looked at them and saw what they was doing. And that's what they said. Let's deal wisely with them. I just want to say that, man, because it's happening again.
Let's deal wisely with them.
They do it. If you check every once in a while, those same, we use these biblical precepts for an example of how there's nothing new under the sun. Nothing.
Come on.
No matter where you go, no matter how long it takes, they're going to try it again. Herod comes up and starts killing babies. Check it out. To destroy the male seed. It happens over and over and over and over again. And if we don't pay close attention, we'll miss it again.
Yes.
So that's an eye opener when he said that, because I said, I be doggone. They're doing the same thing they did thousands of years ago to a people that was all by themselves with no help from nobody else. Rise in it. And it says we better deal wisely with them, just in case we have a war and they will join up with our enemies. Ain't that something?
Yeah.
That's what's on my heart.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. Badger, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Okay, what's on your heart, brother? We're talking about the affirmative action. I think you posted something on Facebook, but what's on your heart?
Well, I was actually happy to see it. Because they found two universities, I believe it was Harvard and the University of North Carolina, guilty of using denying humans of a different race that weren't white from getting in, no matter what their merits were. It did not matter what their education level was or their skill level. They were using, Harvard even posted it on their actual official website that they got in trouble because they were Harvard, the school that trains people in law,
wasn't obeying the law. Like, let that sink in for a minute.
And what exactly what exactly were they doing? Help me make it clear what you're saying here.
So when students would apply to see if they could get into Harvard,
what students in particular?
The people that were going over the applications were looking at race and going, "Oh, we don't want this race in here."
See that, and
So
that's what I'm not clear about. I'm just trying to get some clarity as to what you're saying when you say they're not welcome in. You talking about black students, white students, Asian students, Latino,
black, Asian, yeah, racism.
Okay.
They found proof of it, and that's why the Supreme Court came down on those universities and went, "You're not practicing the 14th Amendment." I believe it's the 14th Amendment. I'd have to look it back up.
Am I wrong in thinking that when you first started, you said Harvard and University of North Carolina were not allowing white students to get in, regardless of what their scores was?
No, that's not what I said.
Oh, did anybody else hear that, or I might have heard wrong? Curtis, did you hear that?
What I heard was, it sounded like he was saying, when this thing first, Badger, correct me if I'm wrong now. What he was saying was, he was telling you what actually happened and what the need for affirmative action was.
Okay,
but what he was saying was,
my question was, did he say that white students, regardless of what their grades or academic accomplishments were not getting in? Did I hear that part? Because I might have. Okay, I might have missed something. I had to go back and listen to the broadcast. I thought I heard that.
Took you back to the beginning. He was saying the initial thing was that all of these others, that they found out that the people who was evaluating the applications were stating that, "Oh no, we don't want them black folk in here. Oh no, we don't want them Asian folk in here. No, we don't want no more. We don't want no South Pacific Islanders in here." So that's really what spun the need for affirmative action at the collegiate level, is because initially what they were doing was you could have had you remember back when we was in high school, Raheem, the top score in the SAT was 1600.
Yeah.
So you got a black student that's got a 1600 SAT score, right? And they're applying for Harvard. They can't get in. Prime example is one of our Supreme Court justices. He is a direct recipient of affirmative action. Affirmative action.
Yeah.
When he got into Harvard, he got into Yale. It's either Yale or Harvard. He got in because not only was he smart and was considered one of the greatest litigious minds in our history, but the affirmative action made them have to look and say, "Okay, no, we really got to look at this guy. He meets the qualifications and he's black. We cannot deny him. No, we got to take that in the reverse because we got affirmative action."
Okay.
So
okay.
I think what Badger, is that what you was trying to say?
Yes.
Okay.
I could have jumbled all the words together. Yes, that was what I was saying.
So okay, because my thing was I thought I heard, and I apologize to you if you didn't say that, because I don't want to put anything in your mouth that you did not say. I thought I heard you say something about white students, regardless of what their scores was, were not getting in. I thought
no.
Okay. Go ahead.
That is not what I said.
Okay, brother, go ahead. Finish your thought.
The other part that bothered me is I even had the message like Leonard yesterday, and I wanted to confirm something, because the way some of the news was presenting it made it seem like a bad thing. And I'm reading it, and I'm like, oh, because it almost made it sound like they were doing away with it for some reason. And I'm like, why would they get rid of that? But that's not what the case is. So anyone listening, I hope they make sure they read it and don't react, because there's some wordplay going on really hard around this one.
So is it a good thing or a bad thing that it's going?
It's a good thing because they're holding those universities. Think about how many students were turned down that would have been amazing in those fields, or probably had to go somewhere else that wasn't as well known and probably is struggling to get a job because of the racist people deciding who are getting in and who ain't.
Okay. So Badger Field is a good thing. Joseph, talk to me, brother. Joseph?
I think, Brother Badger is not seeing the whole picture, or he's not dealing with all of the elements involved in this whole picture. As Cap said, only a few black people benefited from affirmative action, and how you going to rectify 450 years of discrimination ongoing? We're not talking about what just happened in slavery and segregation, which was only 50 or 60 years ago with the killing of our civil rights leaders. That's only like 60 years, but ongoing discrimination, of structural racism. This is why they don't want to discuss CRT right now, is because it clearly disrobe all of the tricks and the intricacies of the white supremacist system. See, so affirmative action was really nothing in compared to what's needed to address the damage that is continuing to be done to the marginalized people. So Mr. Badger don't fully understand that. This affirmative action thing is nothing compared to what's needed to address years and ongoing tricks, politics, and other divinations by the wicked people who will have the money and power. And let's get this straight. Let's be honest about this here. Corporate America, the same entities that goes to South America and disrupt harmony down there, assassinate leaders down there, and send those people running across the border, are the same wicked forces that is involved in social engineering in the United States of America, and they're going to bring death to this country. They're going to bring destruction to this country, because the all-wise God, the all-knowing God, cannot be manipulated. You can't manipulate the creator of the universe. You can lie to the people all you want. God gonna raise up prophets and prophetess all around this country. And when he's sending it with his word and they don't hear it, he gonna send judgment.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm just for the impending judgment right now.
Good deal.
I'd like to respond real quick because I'm going to have to hop off anyway.
Okay, I was going to come to you and hold on, brother. Let me do this. I was about to come to you and let you respond to what he just said. I was about to do that. Go ahead. What's on your heart?
So I know it's not an answer, and there's a lot more that needs to be done. I was happy to see 2 universities being held responsible for practicing racism and allowing those evil human beings in those positions to control who comes in and who doesn't based on race.
Well, if you don't come with another antidote, then you still got the same problem that you tried to address in the first place. So the problem hasn't been solved. So therefore, you got a whole Congress, you got a president, and you got state legislatures all over this country that can do right if they wanted to do right, but they're not doing it. And the colleges, don't scapegoat them. Don't scapegoat the colleges. Those are peons. Don't scapegoat them. The problem still exists, and as long as it exists, no justice, no peace.
Wow. 508-924-3521. I want to say good morning to my mom. She's actually listening to us again. She over there on TikTok. I'm wondering about my mama keep coming on TikTok. I'm wondering about that. But Captain Leonard, good morning, sir. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem, and the Morning Glow family.
Hey, asking a question, man.
Yes,
It,
sir.
it it's been passed as of yesterday. I think you and I spoke about it as well.
Hmm.
The Supreme Court has passed a bill, whatever it is that they passed, saying that doing away with affirmative action in regards to colleges. Leonard, is that a good thing or bad thing? Is it ugly? Is it has the potential to get ugly moving forward? What do you say to that? Or was it needed?
Well, it was ugly before.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you had to have it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mix words. If white
Mm-hmm.
folks hadn't been so nasty, we wouldn't have to have it.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So it's due to their nastiness and filthiness that we have it.
Mm-hmm.
It was provided as a remedy to discrimination. Removing it, which means one, you allow for discrimination to occur again.
Mm-hmm.
So, as old as it may be, I think it should sit there just like other old laws have sat there just in case. Those are one of those laws that do not need repealing because they don't hurt anyone.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
were put there as a remedy to discrimination.
Now, Leonard, you said it was put in place because of in your verbiage, and I'm paraphrasing it just a little bit. The nasty white people that was there, and there
Yes,
was need for the affirmative action.
yes,
Have those nasty white people gone away?
yes. A lot of them have.
Mm-hmm.
Just some more have replaced them, and you can go and
Wow.
you can look at the staffs and the student bodies of some universities and tell where there are still some of them in charge.
Mm-hmm. And so my point in saying that is, if they're still here or they've been rotated, if you will, why get away with the law that served as a piece of justice to allow them to take away the power for letting certain individuals into college? Why
because
do away
because
with
they
affirmative action?
because they vote more than you do.
Mm,
That's
wow,
why.
wow.
Because they take say civic duties a lot more critical than you.
Mm-hmm,
That's why
mm-hmm,
they can do what they do. It's because you let the Republicans first of all have the House. That's
mm-hmm,
why they're doing what they're doing.
mm-hmm,
You allow racist and sexist people to be appointed to the Supreme Court
mm-hmm,
by a actual racist here recently. We're not talking about 40, 50, 100 years ago. You
mm-hmm.
just put a man in office because he was racist and you supported him. And he was able to pick judges that would do such a thing.
Wow, wow. Let me go to Ibrahim. Ibrahim, what's on your heart, brother? Ibrahim, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Um, I think there's a miss. Oh, good morning, Leonard. Hi, right. Well,
Good
and
morning,
I
Elder.
think there's a misunderstanding what actually happened.
Mm-hmm,
Let's recap. And Leonard said some important things I wanted to bring out. Nobody gave us these things, right?
mm-hmm,
This was fought. It was a well fought battle and won to get affirmative action in because the situation as it was at the time. Nobody gave us nothing.
mm-hmm,
Nobody said, "Okay, we're gonna give you this because you're disfranchised." Because we cried out, we disfranchised. We voted, we protested, we did everything that we could. And out of this, we had people like Colin Powell come out of that. He was affirmative action. He was even castrated in the military for being appointed general. We also have Clarence Thomas, who who was on the side of against take was on the side for disposing affirmative action. This was a court decision. It can be appealed based on the 14th Amendment, what it actually entailed. But we forget certain things, right? Out of 523 years of slavery being brought to this country by Europeans, we see that the domination is the main thing, control the land and the resources. And in the few years during slavery up until the Civil War, where we were denied these educational resources. It was passed in South Carolina with the first law in the breaking of the Union. But getting back to this was actually happening. There was a gentleman been trying to stop this repeal this law affirmative action for years. He tried not too long ago, I think maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, maybe when Obama was in office. He tried to do the same thing. He got some students to come up and express grievance of being denied because they were white. And I don't know if y'all remember this, but it was all over the news. It was a big argument by the time Trump came in that we were denying white people getting this education. and all other people, because affirmative action was curtailed to black people, which was not the case. There's all people of color and then people in social economic conditions as well. So the military does not have any part in this. In other words, the military can still use affirmative action as they're detailing about designing their military, about who's a leader, who's in leadership, and X, Y, Z. So that's one thing. But yeah, I think that it's a bad thing, because we fought long and hard for this. But I remember something that Booker T. Washington said at 1895 at Piedmont Park in Atlanta, what some people wrongly call the Atlanta Compromise. Was he stated that we needed time. He was against the vote too. That we needed a time when we need to corral our resources and take self-responsibility in our own growth and wealth. I paraphrased a little bit, but that's basically summarizing what he said. And I think that's very important. We can no longer keep relying on other people to do things for us. And I kind of celebrate some things that Cap said, and everything, that we need to educate our own. And we do have HBUs that are more qualified in medical, right? I think it was Howard, and also, right here in Atlanta, Morehouse is a primary medical school. I don't know if anybody knew that. And a bunch of other HBCUs around, and technology and science. But the point is that who controls the money bags, who get the best education, like in Georgia Tech and places like that, is because of that. Now, Harvard and North Carolina, they were using the affirmative action. That's why the students, the Chinese American student in Boston, he railed against Harvard's policy of having equal rights policy, and also North Carolina was reviewed by some other students, and that guy finally won his day in court, where they struck down the affirmative action law. So that's what actually happened. This gentleman been doing this for years. I can't recall his name now. We pay attention. So what does it mean to us as a people, right? It means that what it always means. We should start getting off our butt. We should go. We should vote. And if we're talking about college, we at least be college literate, or go to college or something like that, and have a decent opinion, actually have an education process, and take more responsibility, educate them. Muhammad schools, they were a very strong force about educating our kids, not just in Islam, but they were teaching the things that children need to know, and teaching a discipline on the matters at hand, and not getting lost in all the fads and everything. And I celebrate that. And a lot of other blacks, there's been a lot of other private black schools. I've went to a couple and myself, right? So what I'm saying is that, we need to really dig back in there and look at what we're actually asking for. What do we really want? But I think striking down affirmative action is a bad thing, because now we're in a simulated society. We're no longer integrated. We're simulated. And we don't know this. But however it goes, we should be a part of it. And I think this is our land more than anybody else.
Absolutely.
And we should fight strongly for it, and all the benefits or rights that we can give to our future coming children, and not let anything slide back and go. Because I know people, I was out there like other people fighting hard and bloody to win this, and just to throw it away vicariously, because I had to participate. I really don't know what it was all about or what happened, what brought it to fruition. I think it's a travesty of justice to our ancestors and to our future.
Absolutely.
And that's all I got to say on that.
Good deal. Good deal. Man, we having a great conversation this morning. I'm definitely enjoying the conversation, man. But like I said, and everybody feel the way that they feel about it, man. So if there's any people in there that's listening to us, we broadcasting very broad right now. We 63 countries strong, even more now that we had TikTok on board with it. So I'm probably more I need to check on that. But my thing is, if you think that this is a good thing, that affirmative action is going away, call us and give us your points. Make your points. Tell us why do you think it's a good thing? Because some people out there, I know y'all think it's a good thing. Think it's a positive thing. Give us a call. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Cat, what's on your heart? And we got another caller from Detroit. We come to you next.
Well, I think it's a good thing that we even talking about it. I mean, listen, man, I guess, we have been in conversations privately, and sometimes I think we've been in conversation on this show where somebody would text something in the chat. I think it went about a couple of days ago that somebody texted something in the chat about affirmative action. Because there's a real misperception among the majority of Caucasian people. It's a real bad misperception. And this is they always want to say we throw the race card out.
Yeah.
But they got to throw that race card out on us. It's about your welfare and affirmative action, see? Poor people be scared. They're scared to death. They're scared to death to give us any opportunity that God has given to us.
Yeah.
Because you can't take nothing from us that God didn't give us. I like what Tucson said. Let's deal wisely with them.
Yeah.
Herod said, let's kill all male babies 2 years and under. But he just didn't say that. There's a reason. Because he feared that coming among them young males, some mother, bless her soul, would give birth to a Messiah. That's what it was all about. Let us deal wisely with them, yes, unless they join on to an enemy and come against us. Well, why would you fear that unless you've been treating that people unjustly? Why would Herod you set out a decree to kill all male boys 2 years and under? Because you fear the rise of some mother, whether she's in the ghetto or whether she's in the suite, that she may give birth to a Messiah. And white people have, not all white people, let me clarify it. The majority of the powers to be that happen to be white people, that was their fear. They thought Malcolm was the Messiah, Elijah was the Messiah, Martin was the Messiah. Any brilliant black man that comes, they thought Marcus Garvey was the Messiah. Paul Robeson was the Messiah. Frederick Douglass was the Messiah. Anybody that had the intelligence and the testosterone fortitude to stand up against this racist system and speak not from a donkey's voice, but with a man's voice.
Yeah.
That man becomes a threat for killing. So they selected, not elected, someone like Obama. But we got to let Bonham in one day, at least one day. Well, let's find someone that flicks irony. I like this guy. His mother's white. Ooh. He's light-skinned. Ooh. And he's intelligent. Ooh. And that man knows constitutional law, and he loves America. Put him in office. Put him in office. See? And when you start looking at that kind of racist systematic system, Clarence Thomas, let's put him in office. He hates his own kind. His wife is white. He hates his own kind. Look what he did with that black woman. Yes. Let's see what we could do to put him in office. Them Negroes ain't going. They're going to vote for him because of his color. But we like him because most of the time he's going to vote against everything's about his own kind. And then we get that brilliant sister who pulled herself up by her bootstraps. That brilliant black Supreme Court justice. I don't know if affirmative action helped her to get where she at. I don't know the statistics. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. One thing you can't take away from her, it's her brilliance. So when you got those Supreme Court justices that are people of color, you know why they want to strike it down? Because they tired that in their inner circle, among their own kind, there's somebody in the inner circle. Hey, Clarence, thank God for affirmative action, huh, buddy? See? Hey, so-and-so, thank God for affirmative action, huh? Third good monster. Boy, if it went for affirmative action, third good monster, look at that. They tired of hearing that.
Yeah.
They tired of hearing that the only way you think I got where I'm at, because you gave me a chance. How dare you think like that?
Good deal.
And so now, that's the beginning. That's the beginning. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad used to say to us, he said the word welfare one day would be spelled backwards for black people. Farewell.
Wow.
He said one day welfare would be spelled backwards for black people. Farewell.
Wow.
And I'm happy to see us now saying, yeah, you ain't got to give me no head start. Matter of fact, put me at the end of the line. And fire the gun up.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
you at the end of the line. Right? That's what's on my heart right here.
Good deal. Good deal. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Got a caller from the Detroit area. What is that? 313 area code. Leonard, coming to you next. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? Caller from the 313 area code. What's your name? Where you calling from? Okay. Leonard, talk to me, brother.
Hey, Rod. Hey, Rod. This Pastor Mo. Is that me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Hey, I'm blessed, man. I don't know if anybody else chiming in from Detroit.
No, that's you. Well, we got a few people from Detroit that's on with us, but we talking about you right now, brother. We talking about this situation with the affirmative action and how the Supreme Court, they say, gutted affirmative action in regards to college admissions. What's on your heart concerning that? Is that a good thing or bad thing?
I mean, it's just crazy how this world is trying to set things back to what it used to be. And for me, the root of it is when you take God out of any situation, that's when chaos begins to happen. And it seems like you trying to take the equal out of the equation, then there is no equation. So what we need to do now is, I think there's a lot of people who are living in the fantasy world who are not woke. And if this doesn't wake us up, I don't know what will. So we could beat this to death and have conversations, but until we put some action behind it, until we run for office, until we start praying more to our God, until we start getting involved, they're going to continue to make policies and procedures and laws that will bring division, and ultimately it's going to start a war. It's going to be bloodshed all across this country if we don't do something about it. And I just think now more than ever, especially men, because men was given the mandate, men was given the authority to rule and abide in this world. It's not for women to stand up right now. It is for men.
Yes.
So now more than ever, we need to be unified together as one in love. I yield my time.
Good deal. Good deal. Captain Leonard, talk to me, brother.
I think that people understand exactly what the issue is. To me, it's like a traffic light or a stop sign. They just don't automatically show up. And in some places, people petition for those things because all those accidents that happen on the corner. Would you take that traffic light or that stop sign down?
No.
Why? Why not?
Precautionary.
Exactly. And that's why affirmative action should not have been dismantled. But once again, I hope this is a great lesson in participative democracy. I don't care what you think. Get your head out your behind and go vote. And go vote. For the very simple fact, it is necessary because they do things like this. You have to stop allowing these people to have power. When you give these people power, they will do exactly what they intend to do. So while you sitting back talking trash, they down there sitting in the seats of power.
Making
and they're
decisions.
still pushing for racist rules all over this country and discrimination. Where you been? You don't have, this ain't no young issue. As Brother Wheeler was telling you all before, if you don't remember, this was fought for
Yes.
because it was necessary because of what they were doing. Some of them still doing it on the sly.
Mm-hmm.
The only incentive that some people use, like say for instance, even in public education, the biggest incentive in education these days is Title IX.
Mm-hmm.
Schools that want to be all white would rather allow a few black people in to get order to get federal money.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
why you got black kids who go to these schools and wind up being targets of discrimination, because although these schools want to enjoy the government incentive to allow blacks to go and attend, you see what they do when you get there.
Yeah. Treat you like trash.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So so we people have to understand you're in a very dangerous place when you allow these racists to control the House of Representatives and to have so much power in the Senate. Now you see where now the Supreme Court has shown that it is infiltrated as well.
Mm-hmm.
They no longer stand up for justice. So something has to be done. But one, you're not going to wish it away. You're not going to hope it away. You're going to have to take your butt down there and you're going to have to vote. You're going to have to expose individuals in your area that are in seats of power that are doing horrible things.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to get laws changed in order to support not just inclusion and diversity, but all those strategies that were
Mm-hmm.
employed during this passage of the Civil Rights Act between what 61 and 68, 70,
Mm-hmm.
when a lot of them were being made at that time,
Yes.
and we're slowly been improving them as we go. But without this law, there is no punishment for those colleges and universities that discriminate based on race.
Do you see it getting out of control real fast?
To a
Because
point,
affirmative
yes.
action is there. Yeah,
It's
because
out of
affirmative.
control
Yeah.
now. It's out
Yeah.
of control now because the
Mm-hmm.
Supreme Court repealed affirmative action.
Mm-hmm.
Don't wait that long.
Yeah. Wow.
You
Wow.
had a Supreme Court prior to this a few years ago that wouldn't have dared to try to make a move to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Just like with Roe versus Wade.
Mm-hmm.
Once you allow for we see where the executive office infiltrated.
Mm-hmm.
Remember how they talked about the study about the police being infiltrated? Well, now the Supreme Court has shown signs that it is willing to do the work of racists.
Wow. Wow.
So once again, if you keep allowing people to get into these seats, they will do racist things because they are racist.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. We can keep this situation going. We got a little less than an hour before we get out of here, and the phone lines are open. The conversation, I'm loving the conversation. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. Let us know what you think about this whole situation. Ryan, good morning, sir. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, doing well, doing well. We're talking about the situation based on Supreme Court has gutted their verbiage has gutted affirmative action in regards to college admissions. Is that a good thing or bad thing? Are they off base? Should it have been done, or should it have been done a long time ago? What is on your heart in regards to this?
I'm not really sure. I don't have enough information. I know what affirmative action is. I know what it does for the community, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now, unless I'm wrong, so correct me if I am. It's not just meant for uh, our black brothers and sisters, but everybody of
Mm-hmm.
any nationality that's not white. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess I'm confused because they've been targeting our Asian brothers and sisters and not allowing them to attend school because they're smart and they're Asian.
Mm-hmm.
So does it even work? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's where my thought goes, is if they can discriminate against someone else because they're not white or black or Hispanic, is it even working?
Mm-hmm.
So if it's not working as intended, does it need to be fixed so that it does work? Or does it need to just be gotten rid of? I don't know. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not for or against because I don't have enough information and I don't like to speak on it if I don't have all the facts. But I
Okay.
know that affirmative action in itself on paper is a great thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to help even the playing field. But if it's not working for all persons that are supposed to be included in that, then maybe we need to do some fixing.
Mm-hmm. If you take 10, let's say 10 of the greatest throughout history, put them all in their prime. And I'm reaching a little bit. Put them all in their prime, and say that we're gonna start a basketball team. Got 10 of your greatest of all times. We're gonna start a basketball team. They're all shifted back to the prime, as I said earlier. But we could only have on this team, we could only have 7 players. You could only have 7 players. Naturally, mathematically, 3 of them is going to be left out. They're the best of the best that are in history. They're the best, man, that we've ever seen. How do you pick the 7 and how do you eliminate the 3?
You would look at their scores.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you would look at the stats, right?
Okay.
Whoever's got the best stats going to get the seats. But you don't curb the other 3. You put them on the bench, rotate them in.
No,
They don't.
you only have room for 7. These are 10 of the best of all time, but you only have room for 7. Now, from what you said, and you sports, thinking about sports, if I go out and I score 120 points a game, but I play no defense, and the other team score 150, who won? Who win the game?
Say it again. Sorry.
If I'm out there, man, and I'm wide open, I score 120 points a game. Every game I score 120 points. But I play no defense. And my opposition score 150 points. Now they can score 150. I score 120. Who wins the game?
Obviously, the winner is the person who scored the most points.
The one that had a better defense.
Yeah.
And
So,
so
but
there's so many.
when we look at it,
Reason why I'm saying that, because there's so many different there's so many different things that has to go into play in making the
yeah,
decision as to who you're going to keep and who you're going to dismiss.
that's
Because
why I didn't.
if you get all the scores and have nobody that I want to have a Rodman on my team because he's going to play defense.
Yeah, and that's why I didn't limit it to
Mm-hmm.
points scored. I said statistics.
Mm-hmm.
That's taking everything into account because you
Mm-hmm.
can't just have a team full of scorers.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have the Jordan. You got to have the Rotman. You got to have the Pippen.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You got to have every facet. You got to have the Isaiah Thomas, the Dumars, the Bill Lambier.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have all facets, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you got to look at the statistics across the board and build your team based on your needs, right? So if you need a scorer, you get your big scorer. You need a defenseman, you get your defenseman. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not
And
lost to that theory, right? But
exactly. Yeah.
when you building a team, like in here, I don't really care
Mm-hmm.
what ethnic background you are, as long as you want to be at work, you show up, you put
Mm-hmm.
in the work, you're not off hiding in a corner on your cell phone. Those are
Mm-hmm.
things that will get you removed quickly.
Yeah. Exactly. And
And I had a situation, and I'm looking to y'all
mm-hmm.
for this, and it may tie into this conversation, may not. You remember the scenario I told you about last week, where I got accused of being a racist
Mm-hmm.
for defending one of our black brothers and sisters against the other.
Yeah.
They fired the man,
Mm-hmm.
and they kept the woman
Wow. Those
even
cause.
though she was the aggressor.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
she's still here, and I had to terminate him.
Wow.
So
Wow.
where's the fairness in that? You know what
Mm,
I mean? Like it's not the same as affirmative action, but because she's a female and happens to be lesbian,
mm-hmm.
they wanted to avoid that confrontation.
Wow.
So they got rid of the man. It's not fair.
What's gonna stop that same situation from coming forth again? And was you gonna fire everybody every time to get into a conversation with her? That's not right. But what I did with that basketball situation, I was took the long way around getting you to this point right here. Even though they're 10 of the best of all times, 3 of them have to be eliminated. And my point in that is that there's no system that's perfect. There's no system that's perfect because you got 3 of the best, historically the best of all times. But 3 of those greatest of all times, of those 10, 3 of them will be eliminated. So there's no great system. There's no foolproof system. No system is perfect. But
Right.
affirmative action to at least acknowledge the situation and acknowledge the problem. That's why I was going with that. Let me go to let me
Excuse
go
me,
to
Raheem.
yes, sir.
I'm a fairly intelligent individual.
No.
Question,
Yes, sir.
because I just joined the show not long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Are you talking about affirmative action, right?
Yes.
So don't make examples.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Don't make examples. Use exactly what it is so people don't further misunderstand what's going on. Because I didn't understand anything you all just said or its significance
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
affirmative action.
Well,
Affirmative action deals with race.
mm-hmm.
That's what it deals with, nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't come about because somebody was just sitting around thinking of something cool to do.
Mm-hmm.
Study
How
the
come
the,
how'd it
the,
come
the
about?
history.
How'd it come about?
It came about because discrimination was the rule, was supported throughout the United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
And black people were being denied access not only to colleges and universities, but other places as well. Remember,
Mm-hmm.
this is the place that has to have a Public Accommodations Act. Why? Y'all don't remember them whites only signs?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Don't act dumb.
Mm-hmm.
You know exactly what affirmative action is for. Colleges and universities now have changed to the point that one, it benefits them to have the best, the brightest, and the smartest, regardless of color. The reason why Asians and stuff are involved is because of what black folks did before they got here.
Mm-hmm. Do
Indians
you
and
think do you
everybody will
do you
tell
think
you
do you,
that.
do you think those Asian brothers or that Asian brother do you think they had a valid point in what they were saying in their argument?
I don't know their argument,
Mm-hmm.
but I
That
know
they
the reason why they benefit
mm-hmm.
is because of the black man's struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that any minority has is because of the struggle of the black man. And
Mm-hmm.
so you all better realize that. Because when I hear objections and things of that nature, that's an automatic sign.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan gave his opinion about what happened at his job. We don't know the facts. I sit
Mm-hmm.
and vet hundreds of cases for racial discrimination, and I'm very straightforward about it. If racial discrimination is not there, then I don't use it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is not that. It's the
Mm-hmm.
documented instances of white people discriminating against people because of the color of their skin and not allowing them access to resources.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's about
Wow.
it didn't help, it didn't do this. I'm gonna tell you one reason. Everybody know why it helped. The reason why that black man could have sat in that office of the presidency is because of the school he went to.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he sits there, because of affirmative action. Because before they didn't even have to let him go, simply because of the color of his skin. Mississippi barred black people from attending law school. So how were they to defend themselves
Mm-hmm.
in courts of law? You can go anywhere and do anything and choose something else thinking, oh, now we need to take for ourselves and now we need to do. We've been doing for ourselves. That's why we got affirmative action.
Mm-hmm.
We've been doing for ourselves. That's why this nation survives and is the strongest nation in the world now. Don't forget the veterans brought these civil rights to the forefront because of them putting their lives on the line for the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
this is
Good
why
deal.
affirmative action could have sat there until this place blows up or whatever. It wasn't hurting nobody. You wouldn't even have to use it if you wasn't discriminating. Most of colleges and universities don't even care about affirmative action because they're not racist.
Mm-hmm.
And them good old racist states in the Confederacy are still pushing for it
Mm-hmm.
because that's what they fought for. That's what
Wow.
their fathers fought for.
Mm-hmm.
Discrimination.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal. Hold right there, Leonard. Let me keep this thing going. Let me go to Curtis. Curtis, what's on your heart? Cassandra, coming to you next.
I mean, the fact that you can even say it's not needed says to me that you have a willful ignorance. You have a willful ignorance. The fact.
Mm-hmm.
That's nothing. If I was to put it any way in a term that could explain what we are experiencing, we are experiencing what some folks will call whitewashing. We are experiencing once again the Confederacy writing the history. Listen, that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, if we can't say we didn't do it, let's just remove it from the books. Everything about what they trying to do is, listen, they telling you that being woke is wrong, while all at the same time telling you, without saying it, that our wokeness is right.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing to me that the people that's following this foolishness
Mm-hmm.
ain't realizing that, you know what? They telling y'all not to listen to the man that's got half a brain. They telling you to listen to the man that don't have no brain at all. Listen, man.
Mm-hmm.
I gave these people 6.5 years, 2 deployments. Man, I almost lost my wife during the Cobalt Towers explosion.
Mm-hmm.
It was only by the grace of God that I didn't, because that morning before, I had just put my wife on a plane to fly back to America.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Leonard is absolutely right. What black folk, Asian folk, South Pacific Islander folk who are in support of this thing are failing to realize is that affirmative action does not just apply for school. And if they remove it from it applying to just that part, what is next?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're going to put the signs back up at the water fountains, whites only.
Wow.
What we're going to do next? We're going to stop black folk from coming in restaurants, Asian folk from coming in restaurants. What we going to have, black and white and Asian parks?
Mm. Wow.
What we going to do? And then here's an even bigger thing. Have you considered this, Raheem? If you remove affirmative action, how does that tie into, I'm going to say a big one. Oh, I hope y'all ready for this one. How does that tie into the money that is allocated to the black schools?
Yeah.
How does that tie into the money that's allocated to the schools? Period.
Yeah.
See, there's a whole lot of things connected to this thing, and we want to remain on the surface. You can't. And that's how they've been getting this foolishness by us, because they keep us looking at the surface. They keep making these statements that say, oh, that's just what it is. No, that ain't what it is. It's deeper than that. And I'm not screaming. I'm not hollering. I'm not upset. I'm just speaking with passion. It is deeper than that. All these women out here, listen, you remove affirmative action, Cassandra is a counselor. Guess what they can do? Guess what they can do?
What's that?
They can marginalize every license she got, bro. I'm a counselor. They can marginalize every license that I have.
Wow.
It's going to tie in more than that.
And that was my question.
Playbook. Here's how they work. So, right here, I've been setting a hold for a while now. Here's how it works. So you gut it. Once you gut it, then you throw pieces of legislation out there that says that, for example, I'll just say it like this. If you went to this school is not as good as this school because this school got more money. This school has better teachers. Never talk about this school has the better scores. Why am I saying that? I'll give you one school right now that for the last probably 20, 30 years have ranked in the top 10 of putting out educators. Little small school down on Hardin Street by the name of Benedict College.
Yeah.
Has ranked in the top 10 for probably the last 20, 30 years. They may have fell off a little bit for putting out some of the greatest educators in the United States. But now because you went to Benedict, you went to that old small country school.
Yeah. The old black school down on Taylor Street down there. The old black school down in Taylor Street. Yeah.
Exactly. She's not good enough. So then they start passing little legislation, sliding little legislation through that will then demoralize those who have gone forward and said, okay, if that's how you're going to do it, then I'm going to go on, I'm going to go to Fisk. Or I'm going to go on, I'm going to Lincoln. Or I'm going to go on, I'm going to go to Benedict. Or I'm going to go on, go to Allen. And in the process, you can always say, oh, we took your application. Or we took your $35. Not even realizing that the greatest innovations in the world, has come from a marginalized group.
Good deal. We got a few more minutes before we get out here, right at 30 minutes before we get out here, man. This is a great conversation, man, a conversation that have to happen, that needs to happen. And I'm glad that everybody's coming in and everybody's giving their honest opinion on it. If anybody is in opposition, if anybody don't like affirmative action for whatever reason, this platform is for you as well. Give us a call, 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Cassandra, good morning. How you doing this morning?
I'm about to cuss, so everybody get ready and just
oh Lord,
take me down right now. Just go on, put me on the list in the corner or whatever. No, I'm not. But let me tell you something. This thing has been coming to a head for a minute, and I'm telling y'all, I have been saying this for several years, from voter suppression right on up now to affirmative action. There is an active move to set people of color back, especially Black people, at least 50 to 75 years as far as I'm concerned. And this is our opinion, so I'm giving my opinion. But even the jobs that people have, there are businesses in large corporations in my hometown, Charleston, South Carolina, where Black people could not get a job. I don't care how educated you were, how skilled you were not You knew you were not going to get a job there strictly because of the color of your skin.
Mm-hmm.
Once they got affirmative action in place, and there was like, they can, I don't care what you call it. You can call it tokenism. I don't give a woo what name you put it under. But at least a few black people were able to get into those jobs making the kind of money that their white counterparts were making.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, this is a planned thing. They've been wanting to get something in towards affirmative action so that they can start trying to eliminate it. And that non-black man that's on the Supreme Court, the non-black man, whatever his name is, I'm not even going to call his name because he's like 45 to me. They so ignorant. That non-black man that's sitting on the Supreme Court that has said he wished that they would eliminate. These people are in a position now that they can eliminate a whole bunch of stuff
Mm-hmm.
that they've wanted to get rid of for a long time. Things that hold black people and people of color back. I'm telling you, this is not a mistake. These people have a plan. Leonard is dead right. Curtis is dead right. I don't hear anybody else talk. But what if you said that, yeah, this is an organized thing? People are not going to do the right thing. Come on now. When you go to these companies and to these, people are not just going to do the right thing and say, oh, that's a smart black kid. He deserves to be here. Boo, 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 boo. No, they looking at the color.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you want to believe it or not, people are looking at the color of our skin for stuff.
Wow.
They decide whether you are worthy based on the color of your skin. If they were equal and fair, we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Bottom line.
Wow, that's
And
good.
also, Raheem, just to remind people, there are young kids in grades K through and seniors in high school that are being discriminated against as it relates to being valedictorian.
Yeah. Yeah.
Simply because they're black.
Come on now.
Mm-hmm.
Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Foolishness like, here's this boy can walk up here with a 4.5 and you won't let him because of his haircut. That is discrimination. And it's discrimination based on race.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
that little simple thing in K through 12 ought to let you know, hey, it ain't all that great out here still.
Mm-hmm.
And like Miss Cassandra just said, I'm not going to sit back and hope the devil do right. Do you understand me?
Mm-hmm.
Because he not.
Amen.
And you got to
Wow.
keep your foot on his neck.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. Stanley, good morning, sir. You walked into a hot bed this morning. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Oh, good morning, brother. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good, doing good. We're talking about the situation with the Supreme Court gutting the affirmative action in regards to college admissions. Is that a good or bad thing? Is it ugly? Is it something that's been, like Cassandra said, in the works for a long time? They just found the right time to pull the trigger. What do you say to that?
It's all this stuff that in the works, man. Like I said, they trying to keep us down, and the reason they're succeeding in keeping us down because we have black folks in higher positions that have no concern for the folks under them and come along behind them. Once they get the position and start making the money, get the notoriety, and build their names up, they're not looking back trying to help this next generation that's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
They're setting us back 50, 60, 100 years, man, every day. And people are not paying attention to the stuff like that because there's always distractions of other stuff. You know, they throw a rock over there, so you look over there, and then they start doing other stuff to hold us back. And I'm down here in Florida, man, this week, and this is the Trump support down here. I thought Georgia was bad.
Mm-hmm.
Trump support down here is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
People. And I was telling somebody the same thing the other day. We've got to start worrying about the money. We've got to start worrying about self and building up our names. And we've got to come together so stuff like this don't just sneak by us. Because, like I said, the Supreme Court, that brother that's supposed to be brother up there, he's not a brother. He don't care about black people.
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
You know? So he don't care nothing about it. And we've known that for years. So we've got to, like they did with Miss Jackson, they put her on there. But it's like they'll throw you a bone to shut you up. and then they'll come back years later and do something like this.
Yeah.
So it's just all a distraction. But we've got to come together as a race of people and just come together and do things better, because everybody's worried about the money and the name and building their brand. But it's not helping. It's helping you and your family. But what is it doing for your community?
Exactly.
Come on, bro.
It's just crazy to me, man.
Exactly.
But it's Tucson on, Raheem?
Yes, it is.
Tucson. I'm on my way to the SIP. I'll call you when I get to the Mississippi line.
Good
I've
deal.
got like an hour and 20 minutes on my way to the SIP.
Good deal. Tucson, what's on your heart right now,
I
brother?
got my fork in my spoon.
Uh-oh.
I got my fork in my spoon ready. So hey, look, no, but you know what? It's this phrase that was used: "Make America Great Again." So by all means necessary, whatever it takes, something's gonna happen. Something's gonna be tried. And this is just one thing that it's just a scheme and a plot that we look on the surface of everything and we say, oh, that's all it is. No, that's not all it is. There's a deeper plot. And see what we don't do, and I think Leonard says a lot. We stay at our house during the election center.
Yeah.
And we say, oh, our mom vote don't count. Yeah, sure it don't count if you to stay home. So there's something you're gonna have to do rather than sit on your thumbs and run your mouth.
Yeah.
That's about all I'm gonna say.
Good deal. I'm gonna Public Citizen had a comment. I'm gonna read the comment that he said, and let me see who I'm gonna go with. Let me go to Joseph. Joseph, comment on this right here. Knowing that the largest let me give us where I can see this thing. Knowing that the largest beneficiary of affirmative action that has been women, should affirmative action be based on race/gender, or should it be based on social economic status?
Thank you.
Joseph, you there? Okay, Ibrahim, tackle that.
Yeah, I think it should be based on socioeconomic status. I think it should. And saying that, let's remember though, like I said, what I was saying earlier, people fought and died for this, and a lot of people don't even know that they claim that they did all this on their own merit, right? But you did on stand on shoulder people, and who knows? Maybe somebody did look at your application and see that you were /Negro or black, and allow and made it so you could fit in. Because we're talking about, just like sports and everything else, we're talking about a wide mouth funnel with a small hole to get through. You know what I mean? So that actually means that everything don't happen by chance or circumstance just because, right? So, somebody had to do something. And talking about the justices, the first justice, I can't remember his name right now, and all he did to make separate but equal but integration possible into colleges and schools back in the 20s and 30s, and fought the Jim Crow laws, and then became one of the first justices.
Ibrahim, you there?
So yeah, I'm still here. Okay. So that's what's most important that we should always remember, that what people put into it. I hear a lot, and I know people understand and what was taken away from us, but it should have never been taken away because we lost sight.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that's troubling to me, Dave, is the intelligentsia. Somebody brought this up a couple of times. I heard people bringing it up, and that is the intelligentsia. We're not going to get anything done until the people that got us in this better position, until the working class people take hold of their heritage, right? And bring these things to fruition, the things that make sense and practical purposes. Education now is really, people say for money, it's really useless because we don't provide certain things about education, how it benefits us to understand what people went through in the past and have empathy and take our experiences and knowledge and everything and put it to practical purposes. Now it's just a show where you do this, like you do this and you do that, and then you get this, right? That's like a monkey. I think we need to get back to real education. We need some of the things, basic things that matter, and to express how and bring back our history, because we're still saying the same thing that was. We have a European society that's in control, telling us what our Black history is, and then crediting. Every time you hear some college-educated person say, most of them, except Cardi Wilson, a lot of people, about Black history is based on certified people. They get their doctorate degree certification, right? What is proved, so the real the real history, right, lies in the people that created it, that did it work, that did the bleed. I hear people say, "Oh, the ancestors dropped the ball." How did he drop the ball? You living in a world that wasn't even imaginable to my father and mother when they were coming. When I came up, it wasn't even on the radar. And then people, I know like people like these Martin Luther King, all people, forget them. It's the average working class people that got out there and put their lives on line, that demanded justice, demanded they get good jobs. And then, like, going to UN. That's one of the things that people forget. That's what got Malik Shabazz el-Haji killed. That was Malcolm X, because he went to the UN and started talking about the criminal abuses of America on Black Americans. That's why America today is not a member of that. They talk about other people, human rights violations. They're not a member of that. They cannot be charged for it in the UN because they're not a member of that particular thing. And we forget all that. So the thing is that we have to remember is that we're standing on top of mounds of graves of very great people. We have to look back to Egypt. We have to look back to Africa. You can look at the last 523 years here in this country, or even 1,000 years before that, what we did here. And that we're a diminishing race. And now, after we've been whitewashing everything, what we have now is people not connected to their own history, achieved our roots, as Marcus Garvey put it, right? Then what are we going to do? We assimilate.
Exactly.
We talk about integration, but today we are assimilated. We're so assimilated, we're always blaming us, right? We're always blaming the white man because we don't do something, and we blame us for not doing nothing, and we're not doing nothing. It gets to be I know I get angry sometimes, but it's almost like we hear preaching over and over again, talking in books that we don't even know the reason. We don't even understand the reason they were written.
Good deal.
And why this is a simulation into the process, and we're there. So now, are we going to freeze for a minute and say, I matter, Black lives matter, my lives matter, my grandparents' lives matter? It's the reason I'm here, the people that put me here, that's why I matter. Because God ordained, God sent us his vice regent, his prophets.
Good deal.
He sent us his prophets to us.
Gotta keep it going, brother. Gotta keep it going. You want to roll this morning, brother? You want to roll? Stay right there. Don't you go nowhere. Let me go to Leonard. Leonard, what do you say about what Public Citizen said? Paul.
Man, you must have been thinking like I was thinking, because one, we're going to address that issue as it relates to gender. Don't use gender for nothing. Gender is a bunch of foolishness.
Wow.
Sex is male or female. Gender is fluid. You can change that from day to day if you would like to. But I'm going to show up Black every day. I'm going to show up a man every day. You can pull my pants down right now, and a penis and some testicles is down there.
Good Lord. Wow. Wow. Hey, Leonard, I got a special chair for you in that corner over there, brother. I got a special chair
right now that this is the argument that people use. Black people who are against affirmative action has used the issue about women to try to nullify affirmative action. Well, it don't help more women than anybody, and blah 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 blah. It wasn't written for women. It wasn't about women when this affirmative action was coming about. It's about race. If you lose sight of the racial component, then all the blood and tears and everything were in vain.
Leonard,
older people can tell you. Yeah.
Hold on for a minute. Paul responded to you, and I want you to respond to this before we move on. He said, we won't, let me get where I can read it again. He said, we won't need affirmative action when the social economic status of black and brown students is in parity with white and Asian students?
Has nothing to do with socioeconomic status. It is what lifts Black folks out of poverty. That's why they are against it. Education has been the number one reason for African American progress in these United States of America. It cannot be denied.
Mm-hmm.
If you can keep me out of medical school, you can keep me out of a job at any hospital or anywhere ever, because I can't get a degree from a medical school.
Mm-hmm.
For the Black people that use the argument against affirmative action, well, this we can do for ourselves and have HBC. The number of HBCUs cannot accommodate the number of African American students right now trying to get into college.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
This is why it must be public, because your public funds go right to these public colleges and universities. The reason why white folks doing what they're doing now is because they're finding that their children can't compete.
Mm-hmm.
You think they're happy when they see all these Nigerian students that are at the top of these ranks as it relates to most sought after for these colleges and universities?
Mm-hmm.
Education breaks down barriers. So if I can keep you education and undereducated and ignorant, I can get you to vote for Donald Trump.
Wow.
I can get you to go put all them other racists in office to go right back to what they started doing before.
Mm-hmm.
That's the issue. As long as you can keep them uneducated, you can keep them in poverty, you can keep them mad at one another, you can keep them divided because they're impoverished.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all act like ain't two of y'all too far removed from the projects yourselves on this phone right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know how you got our education.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal. Hold on, brother. We got to keep it moving. Got to keep it moving. Cat, what's on your heart?
You know, I love this conversation. And everybody lends such brilliance to this conversation. There's no question. You know who hurts the most, who is damaged the most from these real knee-jerk decisions, not taking in consideration the long-term effect of what they think they're correcting or recorrecting or wrong? White people hurt. America hurts. America suffers. You think we suffer? No. No. America, you're sick. Make America again racist view. You think that if you make America great, take away all of the gains we gave these Negroes. They don't appreciate it. Look at their community. They're nothing but animals.
Mm-hmm.
We tried. Come on, Tom. Didn't we try? We sure did, Bill. So it's time for us to make America great. Take it all away. Take it back. These Negroes, they don't appreciate it. And you're not taking nothing from us. You've taken away the brilliance that every African American or Black person, Asian person, Native American person, LGBTQ person contribution to America advancement. Look at my word, America's advancement. How you gonna make America great again? When America was made great by us, huh? If we made your America great and you want to make it great again, then don't make it great by enslaving the people and forced labor. But make America great by recognizing the contribution that every one of these people bring to the table. So deprive the Native Americans, deprive the Blacks, deprive the gays, the LGBT, deprive every human being an opportunity to make America great. You don't do that. Now, Elijah Muhammad said they would celebrate all the way up to the end of their demise. Could that mean that you, America, is celebrating? You're happy in your bars and your private clubs talking about your quick knee-jerk action and taking away what you think, something you gave us? You celebrating? You're celebrating your demise. Because you know what? We're going to be all right.
Yeah.
That's the truth. And I know my brothers on here think we can vote, and we've been voting forever and a day. They keep voting. Well, yeah. But let me tell you something. When you tell me I can't come to your school, then I make my own. When you tell me I can't come to your neighbor, I make my own neighbor. When you tell me I can't come here, I make my own. What happened to that philosophy? As my man even here said, we keep simulating.
Yeah.
And they're simulating. Separate.
There you go.
Separate.
Good deal.
Get your own. Stop crying what you don't have. We got the same opportunity. Stop trying to make them accept us. Doggone it, accept yourself.
Good deal.
Accept your own and be yourself. And when we start looking into us and our brilliance and celebrate our brilliance and stop hating on one another and make our own neighborhood a decent place to live, make our own private school a place, because they'll never teach us a doggone thing. And who wants their education anyway, right? All these educated Negroes, PhD, BS degrees and master degrees with all these educated black people. Look at our condition. So the question is, do we want that? I'm going to say darnable education. Do we really want it? We're fighting for a third-rate education.
Yeah.
We fight. Let me get in this school. And you can't even compete in the world with your third-rate education. So bump that. I don't want an education, man, to teach me about them. Give me an education that teach me about myself and my contribution, not to America, but our contribution to the world advancement.
Good deal.
White people ain't gonna never tell you that about yourself. They'll never tell you about yourself.
Good
That's
deal.
what's on my heart right here.
Yes, sir. Let's go to Ryan. Ryan, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me. We got a few minutes before we get out of here. And we missed Willa this week. Ryan?
I'm here. Sorry. I'm working on a forklift.
I was about to say it to you, brother. I was about to say it. Go ahead.
Wake up and go to sleep.
Yes, sir. What's on your heart?
I can't really add anything or take away anything. Like I said earlier, I'm so uneducated on this whole subject that I'm not even going to attempt to include myself in that conversation.
Hey, Ryan, let me ask you this, and I'm glad that you said that and that you're honest about that, man. But do you think a lot of people sit in the same seat that you're sitting in right now, and they're not really educated on it, and so therefore they're not trying to get into the fight or speak for or against it because they're not educated?
I'm sure that happens quite often, yes. Myself, it's not a lack of willingness or wanting to know, right? I think you guys know me better than that.
Exactly.
For me, I'm so busy with work and life and take care of my family and reading up on the things that I'm becoming educated on, that to add another pathway would probably make my mind explode. But I do agree with what you're saying. There's some people out there got nothing but time, and I think that when you have nothing but time and you see things like this that are detrimental to a group of individuals, that you should absolutely spend some time learning, right? And I'll get a basic understanding, because I'll go out there and do that, but I'm not going to become like Leonard over here, got a doctorate in it. I don't have time for that.
Right. I'm gonna ask you one more question. Then I'm gonna go to Cassandra. Do you think there's another element of our Caucasian brothers and sisters that don't really take the time to understand it because it don't really affect them in that way or in the same way?
I think that you have a valid point there. I'm sorry for the noise. Um,
Mhm.
some people don't want to know certain things because it doesn't affect them. They don't
Yeah.
care, and
Yeah.
that's absolutely 100% valid.
Mhm.
Um, I think that people get complacent and just don't care
Mhm.
because it doesn't affect them on an everyday level,
Mhm.
and that's an absolute 100% truth.
Good deal.
Um, yeah, that's where I got to go with that.
Good deal. Because I appreciate that. I appreciate your honesty and your transparency, man. I would definitely appreciate that. Cassandra, what's on your heart?
Nothing.
Lord, Lord, Lord. Okay. Oh, so no thoughts at all. This ain't like you, Cassandra. Well, hold on. Maybe I don't want to push you into saying something because you might go to cussing. So hold on. We're gonna stay right there. We're gonna keep you right there where
Hey,
you at. Yes, sir. Joseph,
yeah,
what's
I wanted to
huh?
say,
Go ahead.
yeah, yeah, I wanted to say, Brother Ryan is very transparent and very honest, and
Yes.
that's very good. He had mentioned that that affirmative action probably discriminated against Asian people, but that's the narrative that the wealthy backers of the case wanted to put out there into the American public. They wanted to spin that narrative that see, affirmative action is hurting these people, these Asian people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he could have found somebody from India, you know, in Indian America, whose ancestry dates to India, or he could have found a Japanese citizen, and they were put in concentration camps during World War II. So that wouldn't have been a good candidate, probably. And then again, maybe it would. But they're trying to make the point that, okay, these Asian people are super smart in terms of mathematics and technology.
Mm-hmm.
But they're kept out of the institution because blacks are being given special treatment.
Yes.
And so you pit one marginalized group against another one in that regard.
Yep.
And so you set up
Yep.
a narrative. Yeah, you set the narrative and you feed that to American people who, like Brother Ryan said, are not fully informed about the history. And so they readily receive that and digest it and regurgitate it. And so all the talk shows, you got somebody from that ilk spinning that narrative. It's a lie. It's propaganda.
Yeah.
It's deceit.
Yeah.
And it will not get this country where the vision calls for. If this country is going to be a country with liberty and justice for all, it's not going to get there as long as policymakers are discriminating against various segments of this country. Now, when you have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, a Puerto Rican sister, Congresswoman, Benny Thompson from Mississippi, powerful congressman, Cory Booker. When you got Kamala Harris, you got all of the various communities represented at the table managing this system, then you will do away with structural discrimination. They know this. That's why they're talking about make America great again. In other words, keep it white, controlled by whites. The early whites who took over this country from the Native Americans, keep it in their hands. That ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
That cannot happen.
Wow. It's about time for us to get out of here. Cassandra, she said she ain't had nothing to say, boy, but I heard a lot of co-signing going on right there. I heard a lot of co-signing going on. Curtis, what's on your heart, brother? Curtis?
For me, yeah, I'm right here, man. I'm sum this up real quick. For me, brother, and I'm just gonna state it plainly. Skip all the academics. If you cannot recognize the disenfranchisement of a particular group and/or culture and/or sect, if you cannot recognize how this very same man uses another demoralized group, culture, or sect to speak against another group, culture, or sect that he's demoralizing as well, without ever pointing the finger back at himself, if you cannot recognize that and you sitting quiet, go get in the clown car. Because as far as I'm concerned, I believe what Dr. King said. When one of the most powerful statements Dr. King ever made was that we will not remember the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. If you sitting by and you watching this thing going and you ain't saying nothing about it, all I'm gonna say to you is it's gonna be your turn one day. That man gonna get to you. You next. This is what I need everybody to pay attention to. Who brought this case? And why was this even offered? They choose to hear cases. The Supreme Court can literally tell you, Mr. Ajime, I'm sorry, but your case does not warrant a hearing in the Supreme Court. I'm sorry, Mr. Ajime, you're going to have to go back and get some more evidence. We're going to have to revisit this.
Wow.
How is it that case got heard over? Now, if people playing this thing right, I'm telling you, this is a travesty. It's criminal. How is it that case got heard over the case that was brought up that was based off of the Federal Bureau of Investigation and CIA reports that said the biggest threat to America, the biggest threat to the American culture, society, and democracy is the white supremacist movement? Somebody tell me something now.
Wow. Good deal. Good deal.
It's the Gutter versus Bollinger case. It's the Gutter versus Bollinger case that brought this to Supreme Court, and I think it was early 2000. And what people have to understand, this is just a particular case that raises the question as it relates to colleges and universities. But the decision that was used to overrule affirmative action was the very constitutional amendment for equal rights. I mean, the equal protection clause. Excuse me. The equal protection clause. That's huge.
Yeah. That's good.
That's huge. So don't get confused with this one case that brought this about. Confused with why the decision was made. It's why the Supreme Court made the decision that they will use to justify every single thing that comes before them that's based on race.
Good deal. Let me do this.
Absolutely.
We're going to get out of here, but we got another call from the 313 area code. 313 area code. What's your name? Where you calling from? 313. Are you there? Okay. 313 evidently didn't want to say anything, so I got him on mute. 313. If you're there, say something now. Forever hold your peace. And your peace is held. Cap, what's on your heart, brother?
Oh man, I mean, you know what I mean, man. Listen, and God really be putting some things on your heart. You know what I enjoy. That's the truth. I'm not trying to blow no sunshine on nobody's backside.
Yes, sir.
And I'm good to God. But I get stimulated intellectually, man, morally and spiritually, from the brilliant minds of the panel that you got. There's not one person on this panel today I didn't learn nothing from. And I leave here off this show today a more enlightened human being. Because what I didn't know about certain things about this case, Dr. Leonard, he'll quote a case. Abraham would quote this, and my man even Baxter would throw something in there, and then the great Curtis is off the chain. I mean, when I listen to my man Paul and even to my man Ryan and then my man Joseph, oh come on, man, Pete, how do we? Is there a win on this? Do we sum this up, Raheem? When you close this show out, is there a win? It most certainly is a win. Because we all leave here more informed than when we came on. And if anybody say they didn't, they're a doggone lie.
Yes, sir.
They're a doggone lie. May God bless you. Thank you for giving me this great opportunity to just sit among these most brilliant men and women that you have on this show. That I'm gonna be honest, I just steal their brilliance. Yeah, I steal y'all's brilliance. And some of you, I take your quotes.
Yeah.
If I'm guilty of anything, I don't give you credit for it. But I will steal your quote.
There you go.
I'm a quote thief. May God bless you. Thank you, Brother Raheem.
Thank you as well, brother. And to God be the glory. To God be the glory. Leonard, what's going on at 3:00 today, sir?
If you did not get a chance to hear the show, it's entire.
No. Let's start it over again, man. No. We didn't do that right. I'm going to Cassandra and I'm going to man, I forgot my brother Tucson name for a second. That Tucson, because I know he over there laughing. They need you to do it right. They need you to do it right. They need you to do it right.
If you did not
get my recorder on,
if you did not get a chance to hear this show in its entirety,
there you
please
go.
log on to www.dkmmediagroup.com at 3:00 today for the replay.
Good deal. Who we gonna get the prayers out this morning? Tucson, we charge you, brother. Will you pray us out?
Hey God, Father, we come now and we say thank you, God. Give you glory. You're so much amazing all by yourself. You don't even need us, but you use us, frail like we are. And you give us what we need, right when we need it. So we give you all glory and honor and praise. Thank you for this day you made, and we're rejoicing and we're glad in it. God, everything that we go through, we cast all of our cares on you because we know you care for us. Bless us as we go through this day. Keep us in your care. Even bless us on the things that we fail to mention. In Jesus' name and for his sake. Amen.
Amen. It's been a great broadcast. I definitely want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DK Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your morning. It is now 10:07. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we are certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple, I want you to go out there, find somebody and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And then we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. Take care of each other. And please, please, please be blessed. Give somebody some love and truth. They would appreciate it, and I'm sure that you will as well. Have a great weekend. Love you. Talk to you Monday morning if God says the same.